What is up, YouTubers? Welcome back to Roses for Adventure. My name is Sonia. I'm going to share with you how you can have the perfect day at Coco Cay and the worst day at Coco Cay. It is incredible how just in 1 week you can go from having the perfect day at Coco Cay to the worst day at Coco Cay. So my husband and I recently traveled on the Oasis of the Seas, Royal Caribbean's beautiful ship, and one of our stops was to Perfect Day at Coco Cay. We stopped there on Tuesday, January 30th, and had the perfect day. The sun was shining, we got to lay by the beach, we went to the swim-up bar and had some cocktails. But first, let me share with you what might make your vacation the worst day at Coco Cay. Just 1 week later, on February 6th, the Oasis of the Seas was stranded at Coco Cay. At about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the captain called all aboard, so the whole island had to be evacuated because of this huge storm swell that was coming along. Now, the Freedom of the Seas was also at port that day, and they were luckily docked on the east side of the dock, so they were able to quickly get the passengers back on the ship and get out of there before it got too bad. The Oasis of the Seas, however, had a bit of a different story. So because of the high winds and the waves, the way that the wind was blowing, it was just pushing the ship up against the dock, and the thrusters were not strong enough to push the Oasis of the Seas off of the dock without potentially causing a lot of damage. So they decided to hunker down and stay there. They were stuck at port until reportedly about 2 a.m. the next morning. There are also reports of other ships that week having to completely pass by a port and skip it altogether. Now, unfortunately for the Carnival Magic, they did not have such a magical experience. The Carnival Magic is docked at Ocho Rios, where the winds started to whip so hard that it broke one of the bumpers, slamming the Carnival Magic into the dock. It caused damage both to the ship and to the dock that the Carnival Magic then had to leave port and go to Falmouth, over an hour away. Meanwhile, all the passengers that got off in Ocho Rios to go do their excursions were completely unaware. There was no way for them to be contacted. They got shuttled by bus over to the port in Falmouth so that they could then get back on their ship. Could you imagine getting back to the cruise ship port and your cruise ship is gone? I can't, that's for sure. Now, the only good news out of this is if this ever happens to you and you book your excursion through the cruise line, if your excursion is canceled because of weather, it should be fully refunded to you. We saw this happen on our trip when we went to Labadee. It was raining all day long when we were in Labadee. Nothing like this high wind situation, but it did rain. So a lot of the excursions got canceled and people were able to be fully refunded, which, thank goodness. With all this being said, we had our perfect day at Coco Cay. So let me show you how to have your perfect day at Coco Cay. I'll give you a couple tips and tricks of things that I would recommend packing that we used when we were there, and all the great free stuff that you get to do if you choose that route. You are greeted immediately when you get off the dock by dancers and fun music. There's also a towel station nearby where you can exchange towels or pick up new towels if you did not grab some on the boat before you got off. Then immediately to your right is the entrance for the Thrill water park. If you choose to do the water park, I'm sure you'll have a blast. We chose to just relax and hang out this time, so I'm going to show you the chill side of the island. Now, the great part about the chill side of the island is that everything is free. The lounge chairs, your towels are still provided by Royal Caribbean, food is provided by them. If you have the drink package, the pop package, all of those things are free and included with your pop package or drink package. Now, the only things that are extra on this side are, again, if you did not buy the pop or drink package and you want to get something, they do have a little merchant that's like souvenir type items, t-shirts and hats and that kind of thing that say Coco Cay on them. They do have beach loungers and beach cabanas that you can rent for an additional fee. They also have snorkel equipment if you did not bring your own, and they have beach mats that like floaties if you want to borrow some of those for the day. We were also at Coco Cay in 2020 with our kids, and we just brought on some floaties that we could inflate ourselves. They're called Zoodles. We bought them on Amazon. I will link them down in the description below, but they were perfect. They compacted really nice. They deflated really nice because it is just kind of like an inflatable noodle. So that brings me to my next thing that I would recommend bringing is your own snorkel equipment if you own it. The snorkel equipment on the island is fine, but those of us that have our own equipment definitely prefer our own equipment, so we brought our own snorkel gear. Alright, so let's see some of the island. Right when you get off the ship, to the right is the Thrill Island. Right outside of that is called Captain Jill's pirate ship. And this just has some fun little slides and some spray things for kids to play with. A great thing. As soon as you get on the island, they can jump on there, have some fun. Then we went down the path and found Captain Jack's. That's where they will have drinks. A great little bar when you first get on the island. If you go just a little bit further past that, down to the left, you will find the grill, and that's where they will serve you lunch and have snacks. We decided to keep walking because we wanted to get to our destination quickly so we could get the perfect spot to sit. So stick around and I'll show you where we went. But first, let's see the Splashaway Bay. This is also included, so if you have little ones that don't want to do the huge water slides, don't feel like you need to spend the extra money. I'm not sponsored by Royal Caribbean, so I am not going to tell you to spend more money if you don't need to. When we went with our kids, they were 7 and 3, and they absolutely loved the Splashaway Bay. The slides were big enough for them where they felt like they still got to do something, and they had dump buckets and spray hoses, and they spent so much time here. And again, if you have kids, I'm not going to show it in this video, but we took our kids to Harbor Beach. It's nice and protected. As you can see, it's kind of in a little lagoon, so there's no huge waves coming that you're worried that they're going to get knocked over. It's very well done, so this was a great place for us to hang out with kids. Again, we didn't go with kids this time, so let's keep going and I'll show you where we finally made it. But first, let's stop by the swim up bar and the Oasis Lagoon pool. This pool is humongous. It can get to be quite the party scene, especially with the swim up bar. You can definitely imagine what's going to happen there later. We didn't stick around here for too long because that wasn't our scene this time. Something great to notice here at the pool is that they do have life jackets available for the kids. So if you do not pack your floaties or just don't want to bring it on the island that day, they have got you covered. We made it to South Beach. We loved South Beach. It's a little bit further away, so I feel like a lot of people didn't want to take the effort. The only thing to keep in mind is if you think you're going to be sneaky and be the only ones there, there is a tram that takes people there. So it's not as much work as you think it is. It only is if you're going to walk like we did. So you get to walk through this cool jungle area, which makes it even seem more exclusive, I guess. But a really cool area. There were tons of game things to do, giant pool, they had volleyball, all kinds of sport options. So if you are not the relaxing by the beach type and want to do something, there were tons of options there. They also had a small, I don't know, I don't want to call it a restaurant, but like a walk-up area where you could order food. 100% will recommend you get the funnel cake. It was amazing. Other than that, they had just kind of handheld food, hot dogs, hamburgers, that kind of thing. So that brings me to one of our other favorite spots, the swim up bar. At one point, they had to kick people off because they do have a maximum amount of people because it is a floating bar. So there were too many people on it and it was actually starting to sink. So we got off and had to get back on later when it was safe to do so. We spent most of the day hanging out in our beach chairs, which brings me to the next thing that I would recommend bringing. We brought our own towels on board. We really like the Turkish towels because they are a little bit lighter of a material, so they dry a lot faster. I feel like the towels that Royal Caribbean provides just takes forever to dry. And being this far back on the island, there's only the one towel station at the beginning of the island to return your towels. So we brought our own towels on board. I will link those down below, as well as I would recommend some towel holders that clip onto your chair. So instead of the clips, we did like an elastic band, which worked out wonderfully so your towel's not falling off and blowing in the wind. Those are awesome. The best part about hanging out here at this beach versus other ports where you can go to do a beach break or whatever, there are no merchants walking up and down the beach trying to sell you something you don't need or try to give you a massage that you don't want. So this one was just relaxing. They did have bar staff walking around, taking drink orders, and will deliver it to you, which was amazing. You really just get to relax, and we just read and enjoyed the sun. Now, being that this is a Royal Caribbean island, you only need your SeaPass card. You don't need your credit card and a bunch of cash, but do remember to bring some cash, because if you are using that bar staff, it is great to tip them. They greatly appreciate it. Last but not least, don't forget to pack your camera, your GoPro, and extra batteries so you can capture all your fun memories here at Coco Cay. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please let me know in the comments what your favorite part about Coco Cay is. If you've ever been, or if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on our next adventure.